Hey guys, welcome to your weekly training tip. So I wanted to do something a little bit different today because I'm always talking about training and yoga and food and all those kind of fun things. But one of the most important conversations I have with a lot of my clients is understanding the right equipment. What do I mean? Your shoes, first and foremost. So it doesn't matter what sport that you're doing. If you're using the wrong shoes, you're going to end up with an injury. Now, this is something that people take for granted. They're like, well, I have feet, I have shoes, I'm just going to put them on, I'm going to walk out the door, we're good to go. Sort of true. Now, if you're just a beginner, and for an example, if you're a runner, you always need to look at how your shoe fits. I made this mistake back in my marathon days. I used to wear Nikes because everybody wore Nikes back then. When I say back then, I mean like in the 80s and 90s. So that was a really long time ago. But things have come full term. We have a lot more scientific breakdown when it comes to your shoes. I'm a New Balance girl because they fit my feet. Now, if you're looking for a shoe that's for walking, you want to go to someplace good that can measure your foot, see what your arch is like. If you have a flat foot, a medium arch, a high arch like I do. My pressure points are off the ball of my foot and the center of my heel, which gives me the proper heel strike. So this is something else. Do you pronate or supinate? Think of it like whether or not on your heels. Are you in? Are you out? Right? So you're looking at how your foot flexes. Do you strike your heel from the back of your heel, or do you hit it from the center of your heel, which FYI is where you're supposed to land? When you hit the heel, it's then like a braking system, and it puts a jarring motion up into your knee, up into your hip, into your back. It's a whole thing. So if you are that person and you need more cushioning in your shoe, then that's the kind of shoe that you want to look for. So mine are a little beat up. I wear them all the time. I actually work out of two different shoes. Same shoe, just two different pair. Ideally, because you want the cushioning in your shoe to reabsorb the air, right? So if you're in your shoes and you're walking every day, running every day, you really do need that time in between for the air to get back into the air cushioned sole, right? Like otherwise you're just beating it down. Now, I've prolonged the life of my shoes by getting some inserts, taking out the old ones and putting in some new. COVID's a thing, trying to get to the store a little hard. So one of the things that you're always looking for is the shape of the last. This is your last, right? So I have a really high arch, so mine's slight S shape, but relatively straight because I need more arch support here because my arch is so high. If you have a flat foot, you're probably gonna have a straighter one. If you have a normal, you have more of an S curve. The other thing is how flexible is your shoe? Can you bend it? Can the toes touch, right? You want a good flexible shoe, especially if you're running or walking. Now, walking, a little bit more stable than your running shoe. But most importantly, you want that feeling in the heel that it's snug. Yeah, so it's like if you're ski and you have those ski boots and your heel is snug here. There should be no slipping or sliding in the heel of your shoe, for any shoes for that matter, boots included. They should always fit your heel snugly. And then in the toe box, this part right here, you want to have more space. And on top of that, you want to have extra space. My shoes are one size bigger than my foot because when you run or walk a lot, especially if you walk at a fast pace, what happens is if this is your shoe and this is your foot, it's gonna slide. See what happens? If your shoe fits you exactly, your toe's just going to mash into that end of the shoe. You have no space for the give that your foot requires. I made this mistake also in my marathon days. I used to end up with blackened toenails. There was no space for breath in my foot. So, I didn't ever have foot fungus, but I mean, your feet get sweaty. You want to have like a proper pair of socks, a good pair of shoes. Whether you're going walking, get a good stability shoe for that, like a really good stable shoe. If you're running, really get your foot measured. Like I said, I'm a New Balance girl, but Saucony, Asics, really, really great shoes. If you're hiking, again, it's a whole different shoe. If you're playing tennis, That's a completely different shoe that's really firm and solid because you have a lot of lateral movement when you're playing tennis, and you're usually playing on clay. So, there's things that you have to compensate for. If you're wearing a pair of running shoes for tennis, you're going to end up injured, and you're going to sprain an ankle because you don't have the stability in the heel that your foot's going to require. Same with basketball. They have high tops for a reason because you need the stability for all that directional movement that you're making, lateral, forward, pivots. There's so many different things. So the sport that you're going to be doing, pick your shoe accordingly, and then pick the shoe that fits your foot. I would love to say that I can pick my shoe for fashion. I have a whole rack of shoes for that. Not my running shoes. I have yet, in the last 27 years, come across a pair of running shoes where I'm like, woohoo, very excited about. Not gonna happen. But they fit my foot. They don't create more injury. And if you're finding that your feet, knees, ankles, all of that hurt, usually your shoes are dead. So the problem is people are like, my shoes are great. They look fine. But you're not buying your shoes for what looks on the outside. You're buying your shoe for what's on the inside. And that's the cushioning and the stability. And over time, those break down. So if you've put 400 to 500 miles, I know, I said it, I'm a Canadian, should be kilometers, but you guys can convert, in your shoes, they're done. And buy 2 pair. Always get a good second pair of shoes to swap out alternate days to give your shoes longer life and to give the sole time for the air to come back into. So that's me for today. Tune in next week to find out your next tip. And I hope you have fun shopping for your shoes.